What if the Separatist Council, the Council of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, managed to survive? Now, obviously, there's a million different ways they could have survived, but let's just say that Padme Amidala and Obi-Wan Kenobi get to Mustafar a lot faster than they actually did, and Padme starts confronting Anakin and talking to him, and then of course Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up. And by the way, Obi-Wan Kenobi should have just stayed in the ship a little longer, then maybe Anakin wouldn't have force choked Padme. Like, come on. But the point is, let's just say that Padme and Obi-Wan get there faster, and Anakin has to deal with them. So the Separatist leaders see Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting, and the Separatist leaders realize that something is wrong, and they escape. Now, while they're escaping, Nute Gunray sees Padme Amidala lying on the floor because she's just been choked, and of course she's in major shock uh, because of what happened to her. Because she found out that Anakin killed younglings, and that Anakin is totally bad now, so she's just completely out of it. And so while Nute Gunray is getting to the ship, Nute Gunray takes a blaster from one of the droids and he shoots Padme. He kills her. And then Nute Gunray picks up Padme and throws her into the lava. So while the Separatist leaders were escaping, Nute Gunray kills Padme Amidala. And of course, so what the Separatists decide to do next is they get on board the ship and then they think about what happened. Like, they're not really sure exactly what happened. Because, okay, this Lord Vader was supposedly supposed to protect them, but now Lord Vader is fighting the Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi, so what's going on? And then, eventually, the Separatist leaders, they're greedy monsters and horrible people, but they're not completely stupid. I mean, a lot of them are, but a lot of them aren't. Some of them are smart enough to figure it out, and they might eventually figure out that Darth Sidious double-crossed them. And so the Separatist leaders, while they are cowards and while they just do everything for Darth Sidious, they are most concerned, cowards are most concerned with living, and they're most concerned with their life. And when you have a lot of money, when you're a rich coward, you can do a lot with your money, and you can sort of artificially stand up for yourself. So the Separatist leaders would realize that Darth Sidious had betrayed them, and they would keep the droid army operational. Now, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi would still cut Darth Vader to pieces, and Darth Vader would still burn in the lava, and Obi-Wan Kenobi would go back to retrieve Padme, except Padme would be dead because she would have been melted in the lava, so Luke and Leia would also have never been born, and they would just be melted in lava too. So Obi-Wan Kenobi regroups with Yoda, and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda decide to go into hiding, and in this scenario, without Luke and Leia in the picture, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda would have to take matters into their own hands. And Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda would probably try to regroup with any surviving Jedi. So they would probably first find Jocasta Nu and work with her because she has all the knowledge. And then they would find Oppa Rancisis and Coleman Kaj. And then they would do all that. Now, in the meantime, the Separatist leaders would triple, quadruple, quintuple the production of their droid armies, and they would keep the war going because the Separatists can put up a massive front and massive resistance. And I think now the Separatists don't really know how to strategize and function on their own, except they just know how to throw money at the wall and just keep producing their battle droids. So someone would take advantage of that. And that someone would be, you guessed it, Darth Maul. Because at this point, Darth Maul would have escaped, and he would have escaped from Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex, and he would have gone back to the criminal underworld, and he would get Crimson Dawn and the Shadow Collective. He would get them together, and he would team up with the Separatists. And Darth Maul, at this point, of course, he wouldn't really have the Mandalorians because his loyal followers have all been captured and they're occupied by the Republic. So Darth Maul and the Shadow Collective would take over the Separatist movement, and they would launch a bigger assault against the Empire. And meanwhile, Darth Vader is still recovering, and once Darth Vader is in the suit, Darth Sidious would say, the Separatist leaders, Nute Gunray, killed Padme. Don't you want to get revenge? And plus, Darth Vader, you're kind of a failure because you fell in lava and you were chopped up and burned and all that. So, Vader, you gotta go destroy the Separatist leaders. And so, yes, Darth Sidious would still be the Emperor and the Empire would still be a thing. However, the Separatist leaders, the Separatist movement would still be alive and well, and that would give Darth Sidious a massive headache. Now, in this scenario, I think Darth Maul and the Separatists would be smart enough to reach out to the Kaminoans, because the Kaminoans, Lama Su, Prime Minister Lama Su, knows that he's being endangered by the Empire, so I think maybe the Separatists would first lay siege to Kamino, because in the short term, the Empire still needs clone troopers. In the short term, they still need clone troopers. They haven't phased them out yet. So even though the last batch of clone troopers is being made on Kamino and they're pretty much done with it, the fact is Kamino at this point would still have a few resources at hand. And Lama Su, seeing as how the Empire is not going to pay him and they might just destroy his people, they might just destroy all the Kaminoans anyway, I think Kamino would join the new Separatist movement in this case. And so the Separatist movement, Kamino and Darth Maul, they would start ramping up production of clones, so they would have clones and droids, and they would just launch a full-out, all-scale assault on the Empire. Now, here's where the Rebel Alliance and the Jedi come in, because Mon Mothma and Bail Organa and many others in the Senate, they would probably see the opportunity and also launch their rebellion as well. And then Jocasta Nu, Operances, Coleman Kaj, Yoda, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they would gather what Jedi are left, and they would probably join the Rebel Alliance. And so maybe the Rebel Alliance with the Jedi would have to team up with Darth Maul and the criminal underworld and the Separatists, and they would all work against Darth Sidious. And maybe they would eventually beat Darth Sidious or Darth Vader, or maybe the Empire would just win and kill them all. So, okay, so this scenario that I just did was pretty much for speculative fun, for very educated guests, and just have fun. In all honesty, I think that even if the Separatist leaders had escaped, it wouldn't really matter, because Darth Sidious controlled everything to begin with. So even if the Separatist leaders had escaped, Darth Sidious would have just shut down the droid armies anyway. Like, it would not have mattered one bit. Droid armies would have just been shut down. And the Separatist leaders would have just been kicked out and had no power. So Darth Sidious, and of course he could have just killed them at any point. So the only reason he sent Darth Vader to kill the Separatist leaders is because, like, why not? Like, you've killed all the Jedi at this point. Yeah, so you might as well just go and kill the Separatist leaders, because they're a nuisance and you don't really need to use them anymore. But the point is, the Separatist leaders never had true power. Only Darth Sidious had true power. So even if they had somehow managed to escape, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. But of course, I just did this video, this scenario, just to have some speculative fun and think about what could have been if more people were organized and knew how to fight against Darth Sidious. But apparently no one knows how to fight against Darth Sidious, so they all lose. Oh, and one final note. Where was the picture? Here it is. So with Poggle the Lesser, like, it's just a very unfortunate way to go out. All the Geonosians just get chopped up. So I guess a poor Poggle. Not really, but you know, Poggle is terrible. But sure, I mean, this is not a very pleasant way to get sliced with a lightsaber.